Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. I'll just start by saying thanks a lot to everybody in the group there that's sharing the channel, sharing the videos, liking the content, sharing the content where you can, and spreading the love. We're building a really good community there in CoinsKid, and we're all striving forward. And yeah, it's really good, guys. And obviously, I'm equally as happy because Chainlink's breaking out. So I'm just bringing you this update on Chainlink. I've been really busy today. I've been fluttering here, there and everywhere, so I've managed to sit down and have a look at Chainlink. So far so good. We've got that breakout that we have been anticipating in this apex here. We have been targeting this breakout from this apex, and that is a big pump indeed for Chainlink there. I mean, at the moment, you can see that we are currently up 12% for Chainlink. So it looks strong, guys. It looks strong. We were coming towards this apex as we've been targeting in the channel there of this symmetrical triangle here. We've been coming into it, and obviously you can see that we're getting tighter and tighter in here. And then obviously we broke above this line of resistance there. You see that? So what we're looking at now is probably a back test of support going forward. Okay. We are hugging this trend line, which is really, really important. We need to pay attention to that particular trend line. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to zoom out on the daily so we can get a better understanding what I mean. So on the daily, please ignore all these blue lines. This is just my charting, okay? It looks a bit messy, but it's just things that I'm looking at and toying with. I am looking at a $64 Chainlink, a test up to that as we creep up along this support line now, and then eventually I am looking at a potential $100 Chainlink, but that's further down the line. Okay, obviously it's not going to happen today, but at the moment you can see what we've done. Since we've gone up, we are hugging this support line. We've had multiple touches of it now, and we are getting that bounce off it, so we're projectively pushing up, hopefully towards this apex here of this support line as well. So when we get there, we will look at what we're looking at there. So obviously that's going to act as a level of resistance at that point, and you may potentially look at another symmetrical triangle being formed, and then also, because we're coming up into it, it may force us out again, but that's further down the line. Please ignore all these lines at the moment. So just looking at Chainlink then, I'm going to dive in on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, we have broken out. We've broken above this resistance line of this apex of this symmetrical triangle, and as we got close to the apex, hopefully now, if you look at the EMAs, we are forming what looks to be a bullish cross, which would be a really, really good thing for Chainlink, because as you know in the channel that those bullish crosses can give an immense amount of power. Okay, so basically Chainlink does look like it's come down, it's reset, it's refueled its rocket ships, and it looks to be taking off right now, guys. Coupled with the fact that Bitcoin potentially losing some of that dominance, we could be heading into this mini alt season for the next couple of weeks to a month or so in crypto. So it's a good time. It's a good time to keep an eye on the alts moving forward. We have formed that bullish cross there on the MACD. We're pushing up in the RSI to a medium level, just sitting at 60. Remember, anything over 70 is overbought. So everything looks relatively healthy. We're just starting to turn bullish on the histogram there. So it looks good. It looks good. I was anticipating a breakup, to be fair. We did say in yesterday's video, the histogram, we was under the histogram and the lines were looking to turn bullish, and that's always a really good indicator. But what we need to see here, potentially as well for Chainlink, is probably a back test of this support line, as this resistance line as support. So that may potentially come for Chainlink. You may see a rollover, a back test of this line. The EMAs creep up now. This form the bullish cross like that. Okay, move up with the price, form that bullish cross, and then back test it before we keep moving on. So it's all good. It's all good for Chainlink. So what we'll do, we'll zoom out and see if we can plot the Fibonacci retracement levels and see where our levels of resistance are for Chainlink. So on the daily here, we can see that we bottomed out just there. Okay, so we had that top there and we had our bottom there. So what we'll do, we'll drop the fib on it, guys. So what we'll do, we'll drop the fib on it, so we know that when you're doing your fibs on a retracement from a top to a bottom, you go top to bottom like that, and that was our bottom. So as we topped out there, we bottomed down here, and we're pushing up through these Fibonacci levels. As you can see, we sort of found support on the 0.5, so we hovered around that for a little bit. We actually pushed up and got through this 0.618, which is the golden ratio. We pushed up and we hit our head on this 0.86 just there. You see that? We hit our head, got pushed back down, had a retest of the 55 EMA on the daily time frame, perfectly healthy, refueled the rocket ship, and then pushed up through the EMA. We look to be surging now. What we would like to see, obviously, is get back up to this high here at 32.60. So that's where we need to really push on to with this breakout right now, is see ourselves push up to that 32.60. You may see a level of resistance there, and that may be the level of resistance that actually brings us back down to test the EMA and the support, this level of resistance as support on the 4-hourly time frame. So you may see Chainlink push up now, okay, and then roll back down and test this support line, and then before a continuation. But hopefully, you know, we can get to this all-time high there and take that out. But what you got to keep an eye on as well here is this line here, as we creep up, acting as support. And as you can see, we're going to get tighter and tighter into this apex up there, okay. And as we get up towards there, then we'll obviously look at where we're going with it and what we're going to be doing with Chainlink. But so far so good. We got the breakout we was anticipating. It's all good. Right, so I'm going to jump onto Reef right now. So just looking at Reef again, we're on a daily time frame here on a logarithmic scale. You can see we have broke down here, okay. We did top out up there, as you know, and that FUD came and Reef has broke down. But what's positive here, okay, is that we are sort of gluing to the 20 EMA on the daily time frame, and we are hovering on this support line of this trading new channel that we find ourselves in, okay, on Reef. So that's really strong. Failing that, if we was to break out of this channel, okay, which is it's not uncommon, it can happen, it would be relatively bearish, but you know, just like Chainlink, come down, a test of the 55 EMA would not be off the cards, and we would definitely expect some form of level of support down here, okay, on this 55 EMA before we refuel the rocket ships to move up. But what I want to do, draw your attention to, which is also equally positive for Reef at the moment, if we zoom in on the 4-hourly time frame here. So on the 4-hourly, you can see we are hugging this support line. Again, positive. We have formed a bearish cross there, so potentially you could see us push down more towards that 55 EMA on the daily time frame. Unfortunately, that could be on the cards. We do seem to be getting bought up a little bit here, so hopefully we do sort of, this is just a retest. We come back up, we hit ahead, get rejected, come back down, bounce off a support line, then the EMAs curl again, and we may form that bullish cross and then just move upwards. But at the moment, to be honest with you, we do look bearish. So what I'm going to do is, there's a chap in the Telegram group there called Andre, and I was talking to him this morning, and he dropped the 200 EMA in, and you know, that's a fantastic EMA to keep an eye on as a level of support. If you have moved up quite violently, yeah, you will find a lot of the time when you come down, you may be looking at the 200 EMA as a level of support to see where your bottom is. So what we'll do, we'll drop the 200 EMA in here, guys. So all you do is you go to your indicators up there, okay, and you search EMA like that, and you're just going to drop the first one, a moving average exponential. You just drop it in, okay. I've already dropped it in, which is here. You go to settings and you put the inputs as 200, okay, and then you also change your style to whatever color you want. You know, I like mine blue, and I like to put the transparency up quite high as well, and I like the second thickness there, okay. So that's what I do, and then I click OK and I've got it. But at the moment mine's not displayed, so I'll just click that to display it and you'll see it pop in. So thanks a lot for that instruction there, Andre, on the 200 EMA, because you can see that Reef has literally bounced off it. So we will be keeping an eye on that 200 EMA in the current price action for Reef, because you can see when it does break down, it hovers over it and it bounces over it, but as soon as it loses it, you can see the momentum. It can go down and lose itself, okay. So we do need to keep an eye on that 200 EMA. We bounced off it there in that correction there, okay, when we went down. We looked to be forming the bearish cross there, but we got that bounce. Unfortunately here, we have formed the bearish cross, okay, but we did go up quite exponentially there for Reef. So we are coming down, we are correcting quite heavily, but what is good is the fact that we are bouncing off a 200 EMA here, because if we can hover around that for a little bit, let the EMA sort itself out, come back up, back test the EMA, okay, as resistance, then probably get a little rejection, come back on this support line, this 200 EMA will creep up. We'll just sort of level of consolidation and a bottom out process, because you can see down here as well on the bottom here, we have multiple touches down here. Okay, just this line here, you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. So this looks like a relatively solid bottom at the moment. We find a lot of support in this sort of area at the 0.382. So do keep an eye on that 200-day moving average that Andre's pointed out to us. Again, this is why you're always learning in the channel, guys. It's not something that I would necessarily drop up. I do look at this in a bear market, to be honest with you. This acts quite well in a bear market, but in the bull market I never really bring it out. So thanks for that, Andre. I do appreciate that, mate. So as you can see, it's acting as a level of support at the moment. So you may see us come back and back test it as support. So keep an eye on it, guys, okay? I'm not including 1 inch in today's video because I've already done a separate video on 1 inch if you want to catch that in a previous video from earlier. But it's all good. It's all good. Reef looks like it's bottoming out at the moment. Again, it's all in this support channel here. Hopefully we can push up and sort of test these EMAs and get through them. And yeah, if failing that, just target this 200 EMA as support moving forward for Reef there. Okay, and I'm sure there'll be some amazing news that comes out and pushes the price up. You know, that's how volatile crypto is, and especially Reef at the moment, because it was doing so well up there, and then that horrendous news come out. At the end of the day, what does that news actually mean? It's not changed anything. It's not changed what the project is and what it's trying to do and striving forward. So these are just fantastic buying opportunities, in my opinion. These are fantastic entry opportunities. You know, when you're seeing this, when you're seeing it bounce off this level here, have you seen it bounce off that level there? Okay, I'm not saying that we won't correct any more. You know, that's not off the cards, that's not off the table. But from a technical standpoint, from a technical analysis point of view, we do look as though we have bottomed out there. We've been hovering around here quite a while now. You know, on the 4-hourly time frame, we've touched the 200 EMA multiple times. We're showing a little bounce there, and those particular candles as well, they're relatively bullish candles. If we zoom in and we take a look, relatively bullish candles, because what happens is when you get a wick at the bottom like that, okay, that means there's buying pressure. So that's healthy when you see that. Okay, so we had that massive correction there, I know that, but when you see the wick so big at the bottom, that means there's a lot of buying pressure. There was more selling pressure than there was buying pressure, but in the next candle there was more buying pressure than there was selling pressure. And that's what happens with these candles. The more this body of the candle is towards the top, the more obviously the buying pressure pushes it up. The more the body of the candles at the bottom, obviously the more selling pressure pushing it down. So those particular candles at the bottom there, if there was to form down there, they're called shooting stars, and the ones at the top where they have the body just there are called hammers, bullish hammers. So you can see the next candle there is a little bit indecisive. It's kind of in the middle. It's probably biased more towards the buying pressure pushing it up. So yeah, just keep an eye on the candles, guys. It's an indicative of the sort of way it's going at the moment. I would say it's a little bit indecisive, and we're just testing support and probably hugging that line. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Do head over to the Telegram group and get involved in the community there. And I will hopefully be back with an update on another project this evening. Okay, so keep a lookout for that. Cheers. Bye-bye.